Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Dr. Strong, and thank you for coming and watching my video, and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about gut health and why it is so important, and how it can be affecting you and your overall livelihood, how it relates to autoimmune conditions, weight gain, and just basically the fundamentals of gut health, which I have found to be one of the most prominent issues that a lot of people deal with. And so what I want to do today is enlighten you to why this is always the first step if you're working with your traditional medical doctor, or if you're working with more of your holistic natural doctor, that if they're not addressing this issue, then you could just be spinning your wheels and you're never going to get those results that you want, because this is kind of the foundation or the core of where healing begins. So let's talk about what is gut health. And a lot of the times people think that if they don't have constipation or diarrhea, gas, bloating, heartburn, that they're fine. And most of the time this isn't necessarily true. A lot of the times you can still be negative for those symptoms or not have those symptoms, but still have gut issues. You may have bloating and not even recognize it. I see on a lot of x-rays that people actually have a lot of gas in their stomach, which is causing their bellies to protrude, and they're actually not overweight or they're not fat. They don't have a lot of adipose tissue on the x-rays, but what they do have is they probably have like a dysbiosis or bacterial overgrowth in their stomach, which is producing like gas, like methane gas, and it can cause the belly to extend. I see it a lot of time when young women, especially that may be more self-conscious or have like body image issues, and this is something that is a very simple fix. And so the reason why your gut health is so important is it's the first barrier between you and the outside world. Now you have to think, when you are eating or ingesting any type of food or putting anything in your mouth, then the stomach lining and the esophagus and all of that is there to prevent viruses, bacteria, or toxins into getting into your bloodstream, where they can just go to your organ systems and then they can have kind of free reign over your whole body. So with this, a lot of the times people get stressed out, and I'm going to cover it a little bit later. They get stressed out and they get something known as leaky gut, which completely destroys their gut lining. And then what happens is those bacteria and viruses can get into their bloodstream and cause systemic inflammation. And this is a lot of the reasons for your autoimmune conditions that we see so prevalent now today. And so a major portion of our immune system is located in these mucosal linings, or kind of the first barrier, because like I said, it's the first exposure to you in the outside world. So you want to make sure that this is nice and healthy, that you're doing some stress management, or that you're just doing the right things in order to prevent the stomach lining from breaking down. And so another reason that is so important is that it's the ability for us to digest and absorb nutrients. Without this ability, there's no way that we can have energy to go work out, to play with our kids, to do the things that we really want to. And if you don't have enough hydrochloric acid, or if the digestive system is overburdened because there's toxins or bacteria or viruses or whatever it may be, then what will happen is that you may become nutritionally deficient. And that's something that I see prominent in people who are wanting to lose weight, is that they crave and they eat all the time because they're nutritionally deficient, and they don't have the ability to absorb the nutrients they really need, like the vitamins and minerals. Maybe they're getting enough calories, but they're not getting enough like zinc or magnesium or B vitamins that help with that satiation that could be occurring. And then serotonin. So if you're having trouble feeling like you're anxious or depressed, serotonin is one of those feel-good hormones that basically helps you just feel better. And you know, people that are struggling with anxiety or depression, in the typical medical model, they put them on SSRIs, which stand for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. And they're really not addressing what is causing the serotonin issues. And a lot of the times it can be the gut microbiome in your gut that could be messing with the production of serotonin, so you don't get that good feeling. And just giving an SSRI isn't necessarily the right route to go, because it's not going to fix the problem. It's only going to cover it up for a small time, but you may need more and more of the SSRI later on. And so it's not only the stomach that is part of the digestive system, but it's also the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas. All of these kind of tie in together to make your digestive tract. So there's a lot of moving parts going on with this. So if you've had gallbladder issues, if you've had fatty liver, if you've had SIBO, if you've had heartburn, a lot of this can be related to gut issues or gut microbiome issues, or maybe you need digestive enzymes, maybe you need to change your diet, maybe there's an underlying issue that you're not really addressing. And most of the time with like a simple GI cleanse or detox, you can get rid of a lot of these issues. Another factor is you can always do testing and see what's going on with your gut microbiome to see, okay, do you have an overabundance of certain bacteria? Do you have like a parasite? 60% of the population has said that has a parasite that could be affecting them and causing issues, and just kind of draining them. And you have to think about it. I describe it this way to most of my patients because they usually have kids. It's like, imagine adding more and more kids to you every day. What's that going to do? It's going to deplete your resources. It's going to take away more of your energy. So if you have gut overgrowth, or if you have like a parasite, that's constantly going to be draining on you. And over time, that can cause a lot of issues. And then one of the biggest issues that I see with patients that I work with, or people that come to me for help, is that they have what's called leaky gut. And this looks like where they've just been chronically stressed. So if you've been stressed out for a long time, what can happen is cortisol will actually break down your stomach lining, leading to the intestinal tract opening up. So then your first layer of defense becomes susceptible, and you end up having bacteria and viruses and proteins leaking out in your bloodstream. Now your immune system doesn't understand why they are there. So what happens is you get an autoimmune type response. So if you get chronic or systemic inflammation, that could be a major reason of why you're having that, is because your first barrier of defense is broken down due to high amounts of stress. So if you have an autoimmune issue, I beg you to get that checked out, to do some gut dietary advices, do like a GI cleanse, and kind of get that underway in order to, kind of really address this problem at the root cause, because a medication, in my opinion, isn't necessarily going to fix it. While it may give you some temporary relief, but I see patients all the time who are on medications and not really getting any resolution whatsoever. And just like it sounds, you think about all of these toxins leaking into your body. So one, let's take it this way. If you're not having proper bowel movements, which I see most people on x-rays are not, then what happens is trash builds up in your house. Now imagine you have all this trash in your house, and then you start poking holes in it, and then trash starts leaking out into the house. That's going to cause the house to be very stinky, and it's going to cause a lot of issues later on down the road. So one of the ways that this causes autoimmunity is because if that gets out into your bloodstream, then what will happen is you get kind of like this war between the two sides, between the immune systems and the proteins and viruses and bacteria, and they just end up damaging your body. And so what happens is you end up getting achy joints, you get brain fog, you get digestive issues, you have bowel issues, whatever it may be. And so a lot of the times I see this affecting people's weight, because if they're not eliminating, or they have chronic inflammation, one, inflammation will cause you to hold water because it's trying to dilute all of the toxins that are in your body. So what happens is you kind of get that puffy feeling, and you will hold water in order to try to flush as much of it out. The second thing is that a lot of people aren't eliminating their bowels appropriately, so they're not going to the bathroom enough throughout the day that they can kind of get some relief, and that they can get all the trash out of the house so it doesn't stink and it doesn't build up over time. And then that, like I've said in the past, is why a lot of people have these big protruded bellies. And so it will cause them to feel like that they have fat on their abdomen when they actually don't. It's really just bloating and gas and inflammation in their GI tract, which is causing their belly to protrude. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you understand more about how your gut is so impactful to your health and how it can relate to a lot of different diseases. Now, if you have any questions, please just comment below. That will give me more topics to cover in these YouTube videos and kind of go over. There are plenty of links below if you want to check me out. I'm going to be putting a free resource, just how to heal your gut in 4 steps, below. So you can click that link, get that little PDF, check it out, reach out to me. I always want to learn more about you, what you've tried, what you've done, what isn't working, and what you may be struggling with, and how I can help, and hopefully how this YouTube channel can help you. So thank you again. Please like and subscribe if you haven't. If you found this useful, please share it with your friends and family, and I will see you all next time. Thanks.